Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're doing a holiday one. We're doing a Friends episode. It's season 8, episode 11, Ross's Step Forward, also known as the holiday card. Remember Ross and Mona and the holiday card? Fun fact about it, it actually is called The One with the Creepy Holiday Card. It's an alternate title for this episode, and it can still be found on the DVD section in was it season 8 disc 2, also on Netflix UK, known as The One with the Creepy Holiday Card. So a little Easter egg for you. But let's get into this one. Thanks so much for being here and for supporting. This is my way of saying thank you. I like to do holiday themed episodes each season, so here's some for this season. As a huge thank you for all the love and support throughout the year. Really appreciate it. If you want to further support the show, check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Now let's get into Friends. So we start out in the coffee shop. Rachel is in her 4th month of pregnancy, and she's checking out everybody in sight. Phoebe brings up, oh, you're in your 4th month. Yep, that happened to me too. It's your hormones. And we see Rachel just checks out everybody, and the way she describes people is pretty funny. Like, I want to rip that guy's fanny pack and sweatpants off. Phoebe says that she was pregnant with triplets, so she was thrice as randy in medical terms. Then we go over to Mona and Ross. Mona is going through pictures of them ice skating at Rockefeller Center. And the creepy pretzel guy apparently only took pictures of her boobs. Phoebe has a funny line here where she says, Ross, she has a face. So Mona brings up, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And Ross says, yeah, it kind of looks like a holiday card. She's like, yeah, we should send out a holiday card. So Ross kind of throws it out there, not expecting her to run with it. And she does. And Joey congratulates him on getting married, meaning it's just such a big step forward. So Ross starts having a crisis for the rest of the episode. Okay, so then we go to Chandler's office. Bing! There's Chandler's awful boss, who his name's Doug, and we find out he just got divorced. He said he finally chewed his leg out of that bear trap. That's how he says it. That's why I'm talking like that. Tomorrow night, let's go out and celebrate. He's just being so creepy and disgusting. He's talking about the sexual harassment lawsuits coming his way, and then he keeps knocking them out of the park. Ew. But let's go out and celebrate. Monica says, I can't think of anything we're doing. So she's trying to find a way to get out of it, but it's not going well. We go over to Mona and Ross. Should it say love Mona and Ross on the holiday card? Ross is in the middle of a crisis, and he's like, well, we haven't said that to each other, so I don't know. He finally says, listen, about this card thing, I just don't know. Are we there yet? She seems to kind of understand and say, okay, I didn't think about it like that. I get it. But can I ask you a question? Where are we? She wants to have the conversation. He doesn't know what to say. He kind of is flip-flopping back and forth and ends up saying, let's do the card. She says, that's fine, but we should probably still have the conversation, right? And he's like, oh no. So then we go over to Rachel struggling with her thrice as randy problem, right? So she goes to see her doctor. It's Dr. Schiff. He's in for this time, and he's so incredibly good looking, it's distracting. Now, here's a funny behind the scenes thing about this guy. His real name is Sean Christian, and he ended up joining the cast of Days of Our Lives in 2008 and played Dr. Daniel Jonas. He played godson of Victor, godson of Victor, who is played by Jennifer Aniston's father, John Aniston. So he worked with both Jennifer and John. So funny behind the scenes thing. Very good looking guy. Find out later that this whole time she's like flirting with him. He's trying to be professional and he doesn't quite understand what's going on. We find out later with the girls in the coffee shop, she got in trouble with Cute Boy Doctor because she put her finger in his dimple. So then Ross comes in the coffee shop after that. And they bring up Mona, and he's like, we're good. You'll be getting the card. She wants to have the conversation. And Phoebe makes a funny joke about, geez, what do we want already? So he wants a gesture saying that they're moving forward, but not a huge gesture. So they talk about saying, I love you, or a key, or a mixtape, and he says they were closer with the mixtape. But he's going to have to figure out what to do there. We go over to Chandler's in his boss's office, and they talk about that Monica has to work. And the boss is starting to get wise because Chandler's making up things like she has her bocce ball semifinals, so she won't be able to make dinner with them. So Chandler has to basically invent an excuse because the boss is asking, does your wife have a problem with me? Chandler says, no, we split up. The boss says, I saw it, how she looked at you with absolutely no love, but she looked at me, pure lust. We're going to a strip club, bing. And Chandler says, oh God, Monica would freak out, but to hell with that, bitch. So then we go over to Ross and Mona. They're talking about, where's it going? So Ross digs himself even deeper. He's like, let's face it, you're not getting any younger. And then he says, no, but you are getting younger. So he has to recap and say, we're having fun. You look young. So he ends up having to come up with something really quick on the fly to make it better. So he ends up giving her a key to his apartment. But we find out when he goes over to Rachel's and tells them that he gave her the key to the apartment, the only key to his apartment. So then Ross leaves to deal with this, and Phoebe comes over and she brings her friend Roger. Now, if Roger looks familiar, they actually used him before in the candy episode. Remember when Monica's making the Christmas candy? He's one of the neighbors knocking on the door asking for candy. Okay, so we find out Roger is there to have sex with Rachel. Rachel's like, what? No. And Phoebe says, you're welcome. And Phoebe says, it's okay. He's a virgin. And Rachel keeps saying no. And she says, well, then you have to tell Roger because he was really looking forward to it. So then we go over to Chandler's boss. They're at the strip club. Chandler's boss is so drunk he's seeing twins, even though there's just one woman dancing on stage. He notices Chandler is still wearing his ring. He wants to throw it in the East River. Meanwhile, at Ross's house, he is changing the locks because he doesn't have another key. He gave it to Mona. But what happens? Mona comes over. She's completely confused because he gives her a key and then immediately changes the locks. Talk about mixed signals. He ends up feeling pressure, again, not knowing what to do or hurt her feelings. He says, I love you. And she says the thing that everybody hates. And I love spending time with you too. So after that, Chandler goes home. He spends time with Monica and tells her he just got a version of It's a Wonderful Life with lap dances. He saw a glimpse of what his life would be like without her and makes her promise that she will never, ever leave him. She says, I promise. Then she brings up them doing a holiday card, and he says, ooh, I don't know if we're there yet. Again, to emphasize the speed at which Ross moves with Mona. Okay, so then we go over to Rachel and Joey's, and she's talking to the pizza people, asking if the hot delivery guy can come. Joey gets mad and says, I don't hang up on your friends, when she hangs up on the pizza people. She confides to Joey that she's erotically charged. He wants to know if that's college talk for horny. So this is the first time that I'm watching these out of order, so I'm trying to think back in my million times I've seen every episode of Friends. This is the first time we saw Rachel and Joey kind of have a moment. So they're staring at each other, and she says she wants one great night with no strings, and is that really so hard to find? He's saying, no, we're friends, we can't do it, and this is wrong and bad, and they're both thinking about it. We see them each kind of think about it for a minute. She comes back out of her room. He says, get back in your room, get back in there. And then the final scene, we see Phoebe apologizing about the Roger thing. So she brings Rachel something that she thinks will help. She brings her Evander Holyfield. She starts to leave Evander behind. She can't do it. She loves him so much. She says, I'm sorry, I want it back. I thought I could do it. I can't. So she takes Evander Holyfield, and that's how the episode ends. Poor Rachel, still high and dry. And that's it for the episode. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I love doing these holiday ones. I'm really enjoying recapping Friends. It's so much fun to rewatch these. I haven't watched these episodes in a very long time, but I love them all so much. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, And I can't wait to recap the next one with you. Take care. Stay healthy. Bye bye.